Thinking of investing, working, or starting a business in the cannabis industry? We've got you covered right here on Plant Problems. Hosted by Tony Frischknecht, Plant Problems takes a different approach to cannabis than what you're seeing and hearing from the mainstream media. Come along with Tony and be in the know about how to invest, work, or start a cannabis business. Let's get the show started with your host, Tony Frischknecht.
Welcome back to another episode of Plant Problems. This is your host, Tony Frischknecht. And today, we're going to talk about a few things a little bit differently. You know, a lot of information that I give out is on growing, selling, business, medical properties of the plant, how well it's used, also the euphoria side. But today I'd like to talk a little bit about the nutrient side of the plant because, you know, it's kind of funny. We don't really discuss that as much as we probably should. There's so many nutrients, so many minerals and vitamins that are in this plant, but it's hardly discussed. And for whatever reason why, you know, I've got my own theories, and it's probably just not as sexy as getting high or you know, the medical values where it helps people out. So I think it kind of gets pushed back a little bit more than it should. So today I have Miguel Neumann from CBDMEX, and he is joining me from Acapulco, Mexico. Miguel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank God. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I take it you're avoiding the city a little bit and enjoying the beach with the family this weekend. Is that the case?
Well, yes. Obviously, I have little kids, so it's impossible for them to do whatever they're doing and inside four walls. So I have been trying to get out, even though if it's for a little while, so they can get some fresh air, which is really necessary, and also for everyone, no? You feel better.
Yeah, one of my favorite places, if you guys haven't been to Acapulco before, it's incredible. And I know that the beaches are actually, the ocean's actually clearing up a lot right now because there's just not as much pollution, which makes it even more beautiful, right?
Yes, it does.
So Miguel, can you share with the audience a little bit about yourself and your background for me, please?
Right. I've been studying properties of cannabis in a nutrition way, a medicinal way for about 15 years now. And it's amazing what the plant can help you with. In nutrition way. And you know that nutrition is everything for medicine, right? Talking about healthy people, you are what you eat, right?
Yes.
So cannabis plant has lots of amino acids, omegas. It's the most proteic seed there is around.
What interested you 15 years ago? Like, I really want to understand the nutrient levels in this plant. I really want to get more involved. What was that starting point for you?
Well, it didn't start on nutrition exactly. It started because the girlfriend of a friend of mine had cancer, and she had chemos before, and they didn't work for her. So my friend told me that he knew something, or he had heard something about cannabis trying to help out in cancer. So we got into the research, and she got healthy again. So she conquered her cancer. So that amazed me in a way, in any possible way, you know. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna look further into this, and then I did, and I'm here. You know?
So, was she cured for the long term? Is she still around? Do you know?
I guess if she's still around, but they broke up, so
you're not in contact with her anymore.
No, No.
Yeah, it's it's an amazing story. I mean, I've talked to so many people that have been through the same thing, and it sounds like it was a moment that changed your life, correct?
Of course.
So, did that change your mindset in the fact that it was an illegal plant that couldn't be consumed at the time?
I mean, it had nothing to do with the thing that I knew or that whatever they taught me before. So, I mean, people should really read about it, no? And
Yeah.
I have I don't know, many lots of blogs, informative blogs, and everybody's trying to inform people that, I mean, what can you say about a plant which is carved on stone on the Egyptian pyramids? Could it be bad? Come on.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's hard to believe how old this plant is. And when you go back to, when you go with what we have currently, what we know about this plant, it's very little. When you start digging into the nutrient levels and what's available in this plant, what's the biggest surprise when you started looking into this plant on what it carries? Is it the vitamins? Is it protein? What part of the plant are you like, this makes this plant different than anything else that I've seen?
Proteins, amino acids, and omegas. They do help you with your immune system a lot. And they do bring a healthy heart, and it goes all around your body whenever you sum up those things. You could be living on that seed, like hemp seeds. You could be living on hemp seeds, obviously.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about hemp hearts and the amount of protein in them. It seems like they're, incredibly high. I knew they were, but when I started looking at them, I was pretty amazed because I was reading a few articles and they were talking about, cannabis being a superfood.
It's an ultra food.
Ultra food. I like that. I actually like that phrase better. So it's an ultra food. So to you, what makes it an ultra food?
It's highly available if you want to seed it. No,
yeah.
It's also accessible for anyone to buy. Not in the supermarket because prices are really high, and that's stupid because you could have it at your own home. Then you could produce your own medicine and your own food. Obviously, lots of other things as well, like ropes, salads. I don't know. It's a very, you can use every part of a plant. Every part of the plant. It doesn't mean you could eat, and you also could eat every part of the plant, of course.
If you compare the protein levels of, let's say, a cow or chicken to hemp hearts.
Yes, but it's different because one is vegetable, which is a cleaner source than obviously meat. Meat is, I don't know about you, but dead red meat, it's not the way to go. Not for the time being, of course.
So is that because of, what's the big difference between, so you've got plant, you said it's cleaner, but why is it cleaner?
Because you can, how can I tell you? I'm sorry, I got the words out of my head. Like
it's okay.
Your body can.
Yeah. So Miguel, just for you listeners out there, Miguel's bilingual. So I appreciate you guys hanging on and really paying attention. But I've talked to him several times. He does share some interesting points. So for you guys just to be patient with us, I really appreciate that. So with that said, go ahead, Miguel, and continue sharing.
Okay, your body can really take into the system much faster and almost all of the proteins and amino acids from the vegetable side, and it's easier to process. it's easier to process as well.
Okay.
The animal protein is much more different and much more difficult to take in. And, you know, the way milk or meat is produced is it's a bit of a cruelty. So obviously the animals feel something, so you're eating that stuff as well.
Are you a vegetarian?
I am not, but I'm trying to get into only fish.
Okay.
I'm trying to not to consume any meats for the moment, not even chicken because of all of the, well, if it's organic, I guess I do, but I'm trying not to, besides fish, really.
Okay. So, again, being helpful, being an ultra food, going into cannabis now, I know you're been exploring it for the last 15 years. What products can be made, edible products that you're either seeing or that you've thought of that can be valuable to society with this plant?
Well, we made a nutritional bar made out from home parts. It was intended for very low resources people or in extreme poverty. So that way they could have, well, my idea is to have a bar which can last for the nutrients and minerals and vitamins which a kid needs from 6 to 12 years. It would be a complete meal, but it was very tough to make. So I haven't developed that as well. I have only developed a nutritional bar, which is you could eat it instead of one meal, but I wanted the whole day to be covered, and I'm trying to get there, of course, because it would benefit a lot of people. What happens if you give a family like a box of, 100 bars? Then they would have 100 days, to eat. Yeah.
Would you be willing to share a little bit more about the extreme poverty that is in Mexico?
Well, it's a very polar. How would you say it? Like two sides of the story, and it's very polarized.
Polarized, yes.
Polarized. So, and this is not helping at all, of course, because people cannot go to work, and people in Mexico, lots of them, need to go to work in order to eat that day. Mexico government is really not giving any support to anyone. Instead, this is a country where, I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is a time for every people in the world, not just Mexico. What we're living is save yourself, because nobody knows nothing, and everyone's telling you do one thing or the other, and it's not organized in any way. So Mexico is not the exception, of course. And since there was a lot of extreme poverty before, it's getting harder and harder for people to get to eat, right? Because they cannot get to work. They are encouraged to get or to stay at home. Come on, that's impossible for them. Impossible.
Yeah.
So hunger is right to the next of the corner, and I don't mean just Mexico. I mean lots of parts of the world would be and will be if they don't do something right now. And I am suggesting, yes, hemp or cannabis as a meal which you can very easily grow into your own garden or maceta, I forgot the name, but even indoors you can grow it, and then you could have something to eat and medicine. And it grows a lot of seeds, so you could beneficiate a lot from them, of course, and you could survive easily. Not just survive, but be nutritionally in a good shape, eating hemp.
Yeah, I was reading about the hemp hearts and the amount of protein And I was a little bit confused because it said there was 32 grams of this article that I was reading. It said there were 32 grams of protein in hemp hearts, but I didn't know how many seeds that was. Was that for, do you know if that's for one seed?
You maybe read it in the nutritional bag, which contains about, I don't know, 100 grams or
you're probably right. It's probably 100 grams. Yeah.
Well, it could be, it's super protein. It's super protein.
Which, if you go to any type of protein powders, I mean, I use protein shakes, and it's fun. It made me laugh because I felt a little bit naive to the nutritional facts of this plant because I haven't.
Oh, you should take that shake.
I haven't focused on it really until I started doing a little research before our call here. And I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, why am I buying, this whey protein, and why am I not just chopping up hemp hearts, right?
Yes.
Can you share with us the different vitamins that are in the plant? Do you know several of them and what? Because I haven't gotten that deep into it, but I wanted to kind of see what else the value was in it.
Of course, if I have some time to open a file so I could be certain about it, please, because I don't have it like right in my head and I don't want to make mistakes with a program so important as yours. Come on. So it has amino acids. It's super rich in omegas like 3 and 6. It's a super nice fiber, which helps you out obviously on your digestion. It has it helps with the oxygen received by your cells. It has high levels of vitamin A and E. So it protects your eyes and skin. Its content of vitamin C, it's considerable, and it increases your energy. And it would obviously weigh up your immune system. It has also vitamin K or potassium, magnesium, calcium, sulfur, phosphorus. It has 10 essential amino acids. And 8 from which they are not essential. It's much more complete than milk or meat. It also reduces bad cholesterol, and obviously the inflammation part can help you out. So it's a miracle. I mean,
it has some fats in it too, right?
Yes, it does.
What type of fats does it have? Do you know?
Well, the fats are omegas.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. You're right. The O3s and O6, omega-3s.
You're trying to confuse me. Don't trick me. Come on.
I was really trying to pay attention to what you were telling me so I could make notes here.
Yes.
There was something else, too. Me as a grower, I don't really pay attention. So, the fan leaves, right? The big leaves. So I was reading that there's nutrients in those, too. And as a grower, when we're harvesting the plant, we're just pulling off those fan leaves, and basically there's some waste that's done there because there's no THC that we use. But I didn't realize that there's a bit of nutrients in there as well. So I was surprised. I was like, okay, so there is even a little bit more when it dries up. These fan leaves dry up. There's really next to nothing. It's just tiny little bits, right? It's shrunken up. So I don't know how many thousands of pounds of those I've thrown away in the past.
I've been wasted, yes. And that can be used for lots of purposes. So you could eat it, obviously, as a salad, or drink it as a tea, or lots of things, right? But you can also work on some things which you can use. You can use a cannabis plant for everything. Everything on the plant has a use. You can put it to use.
I 100% agree. especially when we start going into hemp, hemp CBD is of course big here in the U.S., but also hemp farmers are getting, there's a lot of people getting involved because it's a big cash crop now. And I just did a presentation talking about all the properties of the plant. It's what I used to consider as like the buffalo. The Indians used to use every part of it. Same thing here. There's so many ideas of what can be created and products that can be created from this. And from what you said, being an ultra food, which I think is really cool. I like that word. So being an ultra food is something that none of us have really heard of like this. Like, we've got products out there. Avocado, right, that's got a lot of nutrients in it. But avocados take a hell of a lot of water, right, to grow. I think I did the research on that, and it takes like 60 gallons of water to grow one avocado.
Really?
Yeah, and there's places down in South.
For one avocado.
There's places down in South America that these little towns and little countryside, all the water is being directed towards the avocado fields, and they have no water for themselves. Have you seen anything like that before?
No.
So they're basically all the nutrients are going, all the water source is going towards growing the food because it's so expensive for them to sell. Like, it's so valuable for them. They give it to the plants instead of the people. There's got to be a way to change that, right? If we've got stuff happening in the world, you get a superfood or ultra food, as you said, as cannabis is. What do you think the future is for this ultra food?
It's going to be the future, of course. Just listen. Let's say you compare a hectare of trees in the Amazon,
which is 2.5 acres, right? A hectare is 2.5.
I guess it is. Sorry, in Mexico we have.
Yeah.
So it is, if you seed or plant hemp the same hectare, it plants 4 times whatever the hectare of the Amazons did, of the high trees which they delayed to grow about, I don't know, all the time in the world, no, to grow that tall, whatever. And these ones, they just take 3 months, and you can clean the air 4 times as good.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Negative carbon dioxide, so it has no carbon footprint. It takes it from the earth, from the earth. So everything is going to be hemp made of. If we want to conserve this planet, I mean, we have to change lots of things in order for us to continue our existence here, or we're tending to disappear, of course. The Mother Earth is really complaining about what we're doing. And if you cannot see that right now, I mean, it doesn't
you're
get
blind to it, right?
Yes.
Well, Miguel, I know we just had a short time with you, so thank you so much for sharing. And for the listeners out there, you have created a bar that you sell. That's your ultra food hemp product, and I know you've created this yourself. So if people are interested in contacting you for whatever reason, what's the best way to reach you?
They can contact me, I don't know, via CBDMEX.com or in Facebook. That would be great. You could look up CBDMEX.com as a page, as a business page on Facebook. And that's the best way to contact me, since I also always responding to the messenger tab.
Okay, perfect. Guys, as always, you can reach out to me if you have any questions for me or Miguel at plantproblem.com. And so you can catch me there. I would also ask that you guys take 5 minutes and look into the nutrient properties of this plant. I would encourage you guys to reach out to me on Facebook and tell me what new nutrients that you've learned about, and say, well, I didn't even know this had this in it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be a fun little exercise. So please take a few minutes, check it out, and send me what you've learned. And I will create a post also of what I've learned. So, Miguel, thank you so much for being on with us today, and being. I know you're kind of on a vacation with your family, so thanks for breaking out with that time. And I want to thank the listeners out there for joining me again for another episode. I want to make sure that I get more and more information. I'm going to keep pushing and bringing you guys some awesome stuff. So we will see you next week, and I look forward to the next time. All right. Thanks, Miguel, so much for being with us.
No, really, thank you. It was a pleasure. And whenever I can tell some advice about nutrition, please do it. Come on. So it's for your own good. This is a time not to let go of nutrition. This is the most important time.
Yes, I agree with you. Exactly. So, all right, guys. See you next week. Thanks.
You've just listened to another insightful episode of Plant Problems. If you like what you heard so far, don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues. For additional resources or to leave a review, head over to plantproblem.com. Join us again next week on Plant Problems with Tony Frischknecht. We look forward to having conversations with you as we go along this journey.